didn't start in 1948. We become gradually more and more mature to reach the point we are, the point of 2000 to 2010. So 20 years, we are nothing. Since the 70s, I would say 70s, 80s until Oslo, we were struggling for our liberal rights, with more liberal discourse, not to confiscate our land, to have jobs, and to live as maybe as Israelis. Of course, we felt that we are Palestinians. We felt that we are Palestinians, but this was not, this feeling as part of the Palestinian people didn't reflect itself in some political demands or political projects. I can say that we struggle for equality like any new immigrant Jews, without this special position of the indigenous people, the owner of the land. We said we want equality with the Jews. Also the new immigrant Jews say, the Russians, the Ethiopians, say we want equality with the Jews. So we were like the African Americans in the United States, not like the Indians, although we are the Indians. But 70s, 70s, and the 80s, and the 90s, we were with this mentality of liberal and civic. And while we were demanding and struggling for this liberal civic rights, because Israel was so discriminated. Also in this level, Israel has confiscated 83% from our land till 2000. 83. Israel has destroyed in 1948 600, other statistics say 538 Palestinian cities and towns. We are 6 times, Israel has expelled 650,000 Palestinians, and those who remain out of 850,000, she expelled 650,000 and 150,000 remain. Israel has confiscated land, but she didn't develop any Arab Palestinian city or town. Israel has built or developed 573 Jewish cities and towns since 1948. So I'm speaking statistics, and it is, I like to use, this is the Israeli statistics. So we should use this Israeli statistics because it's more difficult to argue with these statistics. So 83% from our land was confiscated. We are 50% from the Palestinian community is under poverty line. 50%. A percentage of employees in the governmental sector is 8%. Although we are 18, we should be 18% as employment. In the private sector, we are less than 1%. For example, in the high-tech, the most developed private sector in Israel, we are less than half. In the public sector, we are 2%. But in the universities, we are 8%. So we are under-representation in all the fields, but we are over-represented in poverty. In the prison, we are 35%. In the prison, 35. speaking about economy, Israel prevented us from developing our economy because when you sold the land from the farmers, when you sold the land from fallahin, and talking about those who remain were not the elite, were not the strongest in economic and in culture and in political awareness. Because when Israel has expelled our people, it's very important to say that it targeted the residents of the towns of Yafa, Lid, Ramle, Haifa. This is the strongest section of the Palestinians. This is the section who can develop a struggle, who can promote and develop their society and promote a political struggle. So those who remain were the poorest and the weakest. So it's not just randomly to destroy villages and randomly to expel Palestinian people. Now the mixed town, we call Lid, Ramle, Yafa, Haifa, Akka, the mixed towns, Arab and Jewish towns. But they were the Palestinian cities, the most powerful and important Palestinian cities. So Israel denied us and blocked us from developing our own economy. We are 1,200,000. We have no Arabic bank, for example. Bank Arabic, don't have. وكالة تأمين, insurance agency, ايش وكالة تأمين؟ نأمن سيارات, to insure our houses, our cars. Just we have Jewish. We cannot. شكرا. So we are so dependent upon the Israeli economy, and we live in the margins of the Israeli economy. So Israel prevented us from developing our economy. She stole the most precious asset, which is our land, and she also prevented us from emerging in the Israeli economy. يعني هاي لا ترحم ولا تخلي رحمة الله تنزل, هي هيك. Not to block us from developing our economy, and also to block us from emerging equally in the Israeli economy. And this is how you create a weak and dispowered society and dispowered and weak community. So our demands in the 70s, 80s and 90s is that we want to live equally, but we developed more a collective discourse as Palestinians, which we didn't use in the 50s and 60s. We said don't in the demonstrations, was the Land Day, for example, 1976, the famous Land Day, which was the first huge demonstration, when we said that Israel should stop confiscating our land. So, the political turning point, which we challenge really Zionism by refusing to recognize Israel as a Jewish state, was after Oslo. And if you want to ask now why middleman, what's happening inside Israel? Why they were so racist, so violent? Why the accident of violence against Palestinians has increased 5 times during the last 10 years? Why this tends to flow against the Arabs in Nakba law, which don't allow any governmental institution from commemorating in Nakba. And if any institution do so, the government would freeze the budget, the governmental budget. So any institution, state budget, governmental budget, shouldn't commemorate in Nakba, and she will punish against that. This is a law to interfere with our feeling, with our memory. There is no law. You cannot find, I'll give you a mission. If you can find any law in the world which interferes in your feelings and your memory, just in Israel. You cannot, in Israel there are laws which interfere in your romantic life, in your, there is a law. If I fall in love with a Palestinian from the West Bank, or Gaza Strip, or Syria, or Lebanon, I cannot marry him and stay living in Nazareth. I must leave the country. I must leave the country if I want to marry any Palestinian under Israeli citizenship, any Palestinian citizen who decided to marry a Palestinian from Syria, Lebanon, Gaza Strip, or Gaza, he must leave the country. So you cannot find any country in the world who interfere in your romantic decision and in your love and in your romantic life. It is Israel who interfere.